Welcome to this talk, Reaching Customers with Digital Advertising. I know we're getting towards the end of the conference, and so you're probably like, man, I guess I'll go to one more of these. Bar none, you're in the best conference of the entire, this will be the best seminar you've attended, bar none. I love selling cars, and I love advertising. My background, just so everybody knows, my name's Terry McCauley. I grew up in the automotive industry. As a kid, my best friend's father owned a dealership, washed cars, worked my way up to general manager in the Chrysler organizations, ran Chrysler stores for about 12 years. My father owned an ad agency, grew up in an advertising agency. So I was blessed to always know a little bit about both. These are exciting times for me in the advertising world because we're seeing the same shift. And for some reason, it's taking you guys longer to figure this out, that we saw when I first got in it with my dad years ago, taking dealers from newspaper and going into television, right? That was the biggest argument with people. My goal today is, too many of these talks, I've been going to Digital Dealer, I've been going to NIADA, I've been going to NADA. We're still talking about what digital is, and I hope we can go deeper. I hope we can get into more philosophy and things that you can take back as a game plan, and to trust yourself when you meet with your teams, your salespeople, your managers, so that if I had one goal for you guys to walk out of here, it's like, we're done playing touch football, we're gonna start playing tackle with digital. I'm gonna show you why you should be and why it's time. That's my goal today, okay? And how you reach more. Because there's a lot of digital vendors out there today trying to convince you to do less, and I'll explain the differences. The beauty about digital is we can be very targeted, but with that is danger. We've become like these robots where we think everybody's going to tell us why they bought a car from us, and we're losing some of our fundamentals that we know everybody's a potential car buyer if I just get them talking to me, okay? So that's the goal today a little bit. By a show of hands, how many principals do I have in here? Okay. How many managers, sales managers or general managers? Okay, great. And then how many digital marketing managers or advertising managers for their group? Any? Okay. All right, that helps me, show of hands, know where we're going. So one thing about me is I'm very candid, I'm very relevant, and I believe in common sense. So that's the one thing I'm going to bring to digital today. If I go too quickly and you want to interrupt me, raise your hand. I'll throw the whole PowerPoint out, and if it's a great question, we'll spend the next 40 minutes discussing why it's a great question, or why it's not. Yes? Yes, absolutely. No doubt. So there's some things that we're going to start addressing. And that is me at Dave Croft Motors years ago, sitting there desking the deal. That was my Chrysler rep, sitting there convincing me to buy more cars from the bank. We kicked him out of that meeting that day. So the first thing we got to stop is, this is amazing to me, as I call on dealers, as I talk to dealers, is they still say, hang on, you got to talk to my internet guy. Okay? Guys, it's 2018. If I could get you one thing, quit saying, let's get our internet guy or gal. She's our internet gal. What the hell is the matter with us? Like, every one of us is on the internet right now. And so I'm a big believer in a dealership. If you're going to be a great dealership and not an average dealership, it starts with mentality, okay? And you've got to create a culture where we are all on internet, and that's how we sell, okay? So that's the first thing, is just please quit calling people internet in there, right? He's my expert. No, we're all experts. You guys just use different tools to get on the internet, okay? My mother at 72 years old will wear you out on a tablet, okay? My dad's been gone 6 years, and she's an expert at trying to find men on the internet. Expert. Okay? I'm the only sibling that thinks it's hilarious. The fundamentals of advertising and selling never change. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. I want to make sure everybody understands we're talking the same thing. When we talk traditional advertising, we're talking everything we used to know. Newspaper, television, radio, direct mail, billboard. Every one of us in here, if we've got some history in the car business, we know how to put together a kick-ass month with traditional advertising. Yay or nay, in the good old days. Okay? Guys, digital's no different, and you've got to convince yourself of this. It's just different tools. And I'm going to show you what tools are very similar to the ones in traditional and how they're used differently. Unfortunately, you got too many digital vendors coming through your doors that are smart. They know a lot about their product, and to tell you why you're getting clicks, and man, I could probably get you some more clicks, and you want to punch them in the face because you want to sell more cars. Okay? So we're going to talk about what those things are, right? Somehow we've gotten lost. We sit around and go, well, let's analyze the words today. Let's see how that, well, I noticed we didn't get as many clicks this month. What's going on, Bob? Did we ever do that with our radio rep and say, hey, we noticed that 1,400 less people were listening to Bob and Tom in the morning? No. We talked how we're going to sell a car. Is our call to action right? Right? Is this the best vehicle to tell the most people possible? And that's the fundamental advertising. We want to tell the most people possible for the least amount of money. Okay? So it's scalable for the mom and pop who wants to sell 10 cars a month, or the auto mall across the street that wants to sell 1,000. It's 100% scalable. It's just, they got a bigger budget, and they get to buy primetime television, the big guy, right? So we've got to find, for us, what will tell the most people possible for the least amount of money. So we're going to share some of these different vehicles that are out there. Why digital vendors and dealerships struggle to get on the same page. They struggle because you got a lot of smart kids coming through college and in this, right? They understand the algorithms. They understand click-through rates, and we'll get into some of this. They understand it, but they've never taken it up, okay? And they can't figure it out. You historians, Saturn never made a profit in the history of the car business, did they? And their model was one price for everybody. And every smart car dealer, when it's happened, said, those idiots ain't going to make no money on the back end. What the hell are they talking about? And guess what? They never did. Okay? So the same thing's happening now. We're not on the same page. They don't they understand bottom of funnel. They're great at telling you this person's in the market right now. Do you want to take their business? Because it's the layup. It's easy. Okay? And we all want that. And I'm not saying we don't want the layup today. But the difference between that average dealer and a kick-ass dealer, in my opinion, is the one that takes that top of funnel who is kind of looking and converts them right now, right? And gets in that top of mind awareness to when they are in the market, we're able to sell them a vehicle, okay? So in a lot of ways, we've all become lazy in digital, and I'm speaking to a lot of SEM and Google, but that's the new phone book. How many people liked your Yellow Page provider when they came to the door? We hated them. Hey, for another $1,000 a month, I can get you a bold listing, right? The same thing's happening now with Google. Your vendor's walking in going, for another $1,000, I can get you 1,000 more clicks and maybe 4 more leads. How's that sound? Terrible, okay? But I'm going to give you different ways to start thinking about building a dealership that's relevant and has a pipeline. Remember, Joe Verdi told us, right, if we go to work to wait, that's a pipe dream. Go to work, it's a pipeline, okay? So we're going to start thinking in those terms. So my focus today, because we are talking about reach, and I do wish I had a week with you. I mean that because I love this topic. But I really want to focus on how to reach more, since the term is reach people in digital marketing, okay? Because we've all gotten stuck in one channel of Google, and Google's the best, kind of, but it depends on what you're trying to achieve, and we'll talk about that. I'm gonna limit it to these different digital products, but I want to make sure everybody understands, again, traditional is that TV, radio, direct mail. Digitals are anything that has to do with a computer or a mobile phone. Okay? Real quick, I'm not even going to spend time on this because we've got to get down to good stuff, but I think numbers are always important to yourself. Ask yourself where you sit on the numbers, okay? And these haven't been updated since 16. But in 2016, $12.7 million were being spent in online digital versus they were still, our dealers, $2 million in newspapers. So you got to ask yourself, is your budget weighted like it is here, right? Ask yourself that. I'm not saying this is the answer, but this is where the world's going. And either you're going to be part of it or you're going to be taking tickets. In an internet second, while we sit here, every single second, we'll be here a minute, we'll be here an hour, right? So 60 minutes, 60 seconds in a minute. But every second we're sitting here, there's 66,541 Google searches. You can read these. There's 8,000 tweets happening in the United States a day, every second. 841 photos uploaded to Instagram. 20,000 people on Facebook every second. 9,500 comments made on Facebook. 4,833 statuses updated. 2,066 photos uploaded. You get the idea. Right now, someone's out there showing their friends, I'm at NABD, so their boss knows they showed up, and then they're sneaking out, right? We're communicating. Hey, I was here, boss. You should be proud of me. YouTube videos. Everybody's like, I don't know if YouTube works. 73,350 video views every single second. Okay? So I want you to start thinking in terms of now, and we're going to talk about this, which of these might be the new television? Which of these might be our new billboard, outdoor billboard, right? What's the purpose of an outdoor billboard? To grab our attention. We don't expect to sell a car off a billboard, never have. It's imaging, right? It's top of mind awareness. So many people drive by every day. And a great billboard had one or two words, right? It's call to action. It wasn't the dealer that tried to put 1,500 ideas in one little ad, okay? But we're doing the same thing now in display ads and banners on the internet, right? That's your new billboard. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, the importance of keeping it concise. You know the difference between a good ad and a bad ad. So when you're hiring people to do your stuff, demand what you used to demand. That looks like shit. I won't take it, right? I'm sorry for the candor, but that's how important it is. Our dollars do matter. And if you want to reach more people, the old fundamentals still apply. In a print ad, the rule of thumb was 80% of everybody reads your headline, right? 20% might read the text in a newspaper ad. Why? What makes the 20% turn to 30%? A great headline, something worth reading, something relevant, okay? So start demanding creative in your digital marketing as well. Don't just let them tell you, well, we only do one creative update a month, okay? Would that have worked with your newspaper ad every week they came in and we put our ads together? No. How many times you send them back out and they tell you they can't make the deadline? I don't care. Get it back to me or I'm not in. 2,684,000 emails sent out every second. Think about that. And I believe it based on my email. All of us will walk out of here and have 84 of them. And 67% are spam. Okay? So what does that tell us? And I told you I believe in common sense. I like newsletters. They're important. You should do them. Okay? But think about your spend. How are you weighting it? How do you and I treat email spam? We check it in the morning. We just want the notification off. Right? It doesn't mean they're wasting their money. If my wife called today and said, hey, I'm ready to go on a vacation to Ireland, I know where to go to get the information because they've been making an impression on me for 3 years, right? I know who those emails were. I didn't read them. There might have been a bounce rate, and someone's going to tell you, oh, they bounced. No, they were trickling, right? Staying top of mind awareness. So think about those things. 3,000 Skype calls made. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of Gary Vee. I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. If you ever wanted to follow somebody on a podcast or on LinkedIn, Snapchat, the guy's a rock star. And he has a lot of great things. We align a lot. I like his positivity. But let's listen to what he has to say here to set the table for us.
Interesting times in the retail landscape. Let me just talk to you guys about why Toys R Us filing Chapter 11 matters. Toys R Us did two things over the last couple of decades that make no sense. One, very early in the 2000s, they outsourced themselves to Amazon. I don't know if a lot of you kids know this. Maybe you could pull a headline clip. I don't remember, maybe 2001, 2. The headline would probably say, Toys R Us using Amazon for fulfillment. They didn't believe in the internet 17 years ago, so they let Amazon do their fulfillment, which started people getting used to buying toys on the internet through an Amazon world instead of a Toys R Us world. But most importantly, they just didn't innovate. You know, and when you don't innovate, you die. Like when you don't change, you die. The world passes you by, and that's ultimately what is their issue, right? They didn't change their stores into, you know, American Girl experiences. Like you could have made Toys R Us 3 years ago could have created the national Lego championships. And everybody would be, there was a million, they could have made slime centers. They could be killing it right now with their locations, but no, they choose to just like sell toys out of it, and none of you want to go there. First of all, you're gonna go to Walmart and pick it up for less money anyway, while you pick up your groceries and everything else, and if you even want to leave home, and you don't, and so you'll go to Amazon and do it that way, or buy it from somebody's YouTube channel link, or, you know, Instagram account. It's the best example right now of like how in trouble everybody is if they rest on their laurels. You know, if Toys R Us, the dominant niche retail leader of a humongous multi-billion-dollar category, is finished, what do you think is going to happen over the next 6 years in every category? So retailers, media companies, entrepreneurs, influencers, when there's 1 million influencers every day popping up, supply and demand, lack of innovation. You got to be different. This is why Recall a couple episodes ago, go deep into voice. Most people aren't playing there yet. Stay alive, be there when the world comes to you. Innovate or die.
Okay, so literally we could spend 3 hours on that little clip, and I won't do that. But if I could get you thinking one thing is innovate or die, right? We all get guilty of doing the same old thing and expecting a different result, okay? So think about how we can innovate our industry. It's amazing when you start thinking, it's 17 years ago that they outsourced to Amazon. It's not like Amazon just showed up overnight. They started creeping, right? So we've got to have that mentality too. There's only two types of dealerships. There's one that's growing and thriving, right? And there's one that is declining and going out of business. There's only two, okay? And you're always trending in one of their directions, right? Any entrepreneur will tell you that. So when you're comparing your month over month, if you had a great month, celebrate it, and let's get a game plan together of how to tell more people so that we continue that little trickle to what's going well, okay? But he's right. Our new showrooms, how many people have less floor traffic? Everybody, okay? So do we go to work to wait and twiddle our thumbs and hope it changes? Or do we wake up and realize our brick and mortar is now our website? What are we going to have our salespeople do? How are we going to have them behave? Are we, in our one-on-ones, are they going to be the same discussions we've been having about how many phone calls you're making and how many emails and postcards you're sending? Or are we ever going to get to a point where we're going, how many Facebook posts did you make? How many people did you reach out to make a friend? Are we going to start thinking about differently how we go after people? Okay? But I've got a list of 10 commandments, but one that's very important to me is this one right here. All advertising works, all advertising works, all advertising works, period. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you different. If you have something that's working and you show up in your 20 groups, I can't believe Bob does that. You know, I've sat in 20 groups and spoken. One across the room say, we're really good at direct mail. One goes, dude, we kill it in SEM. Dude, SEM sucks in Philadelphia, but we are great with radio advertising. Guy in Florida say, dude, radio sucks in Florida. We kill it with TV, right? And we argue with each other about what's the best advertising. The bottom line is it all works. Because you got to tell people you're open. Failure to tell someone your business, failure to advertise is like, they say, is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing, but no one else does. Okay? So, but it's true. Think about that. So you got to quit treating your advertising as this, that bottom line growth. You can't grow a dealership with bottom line growth. You can get a lot more profitable, and that's another discussion. But top line growth is sustainability, is it not? It's the future. And I always make the argument with you guys that want to argue over, oh, we got all these leads, but they were bad leads. We only sold so many. But if you had two dealerships, dealership A and dealership B, and they both sold 100 cars in a month, but dealership A got 10,000 leads and dealership B got 20,000 leads, okay? Everybody would rave, oh man, this guy's closing ratio is better. But which one would you invest in 5 years down the road? I know who I would pick, the one who's talking and engaging more people about my brand, okay? So remember, this is the fundamentals of being in the car business, right? When our appointment ratio got too good, what did we think our salespeople were doing? Not logging everyone, right? They know how to work it. We're the best at it. Well, it's no different now. We've got vendors telling you they're getting fired because the appointment to show ratio to sold ratio is not good on an internet lead. And so one way they've convinced you that, hey, look, we cleaned it up, they got you less leads. Well, good job, man. Now we're getting the good ones. Well, hold up. That's not the fundamentals of car business. Fundamentals of car business is let's talk to everybody and let's work at closing more. These are some thoughts. I don't want to spend much time. I want to get deeper, and I'm already talking too long for an hour. Again, I've already hit on a lot of this. I wanted to put this up here quickly just to show you how much is going on. I think we get so stuck in SEM and search, and it's important. It's probably the top of the list. But this is what people are doing when they have that cell phone in their hand, okay? I wanted you to see the breakout. 33% are using mobile apps. 37% are browsing the internet. 40% are in social space. 56% are texting with friends. I put this up here because in traditional, if we had a great budget, what was a full court press in traditional advertising? Full court press looks something like this. Morning TV ad when they're putting their socks on that GMA, Today Show. Maybe if I could afford it, a little radio on drive time in the morning. right? And if I was really a big dealership, I could have a billboard on the way in. And then I'd buy drive time coming home, maybe 10 o'clock news, and at the end of the month, just to kill it and put it over the top, and we all get to be fat cats, direct mail piece hits with 7 days left on my special finance side. That was a full court press, okay? The full court press in digital isn't just Google. It's not just when they search, okay? It's part of it. You're on your way. You're doing something. It's better than doing nothing. But the full court press becomes, how do I talk to them when they're doing all this, at their peak times, when they're in their apps, okay? Those little ads, yeah, they might not click on it in an app when I open my weather app, but I see a Mr. Chapstick, and I know winter's coming, okay? But there are some technical people saying, yeah, but they didn't click on it, you're not getting clicks. It's not always about clicks, okay? So we'll talk more about that, and I want to discuss that as we go on. And this is an important part. Listen, there are plenty of people know about Google, and they make changes every single day, okay? But your vendors are going to tell you, oh, it's going to cost you more, right? And what I want you to do, I've been doing this long enough. When we started our agency 4 years ago, and I'm telling you, we work with Google every day. They make a lot of changes, but in 4 years, none of them meant you need to spend more money unless one thing happens. One person comes to your market and they've woken up and they're spending a little bit to compete on you, okay? So there's a couple things that are important. Make sure you're working with someone who has a Google partner status. I'm not a Boy Scout, I don't care about badges, but that's one that's important, okay? It's important because they've been around a long time. It's not easy to achieve. It means they're spending a lot of money. It also means they have a Google representative that can help work through kinks. There are a lot of kinks that happen for you, okay? So this is the stuff I want you to understand. Like, if something's going on, the answer isn't, hey, if you just spend another $1,000, I could have got you more leads. I want you to challenge your own team if you're doing it internally, right? Hey, how do we become a Google partner? Why aren't we? Okay? Let's become good at some of this stuff so we can do it. This is your new training. You need to become better at it. Search engine strategies. Okay, believe it or not, there's a strategy for desktop versus mobile. I will tell you, since this is a buy here, pay here conference, 97 to 98% of your traffic is coming from a mobile phone, okay? So if you have someone buying desktop search, it works, but you're wasting your money, okay? So take that for what it's worth. Why are they on mobile phones? Common sense. You guys take budgets every day. Do they have computers? Do they have cable TV? No, it's right there, okay? Why can't you get a hold of them on the phone? Because how many collection calls I get a day on that prepaid phone call? A lot. It's pretty demotivating. It's about like me looking in the mirror on the way here. Fuck, I got to get back to work, right? So that's demotivator. But guess what they are doing, what we've learned through digital? They text through the number one used app for your customers. So guess what app I go after to advertise? Are texting apps, okay? And I've said all along, texting apps are only used for two things. Well, maybe three. People overseas trying to talk to their family, cheaters, and your customers. That's it. Do the math, right? So I believe in common sense. Think through that stuff. So how are you doing your bidding in Google? It's not about spending more money. If you hired me to be your wholesale manager, and I said, hey, I'm number one on all your searches, I'm killing it, well, I'm the guy that pays top dollar for all your cars, okay? So start thinking about your bidding. Eliminate desktop. Start looking at mobile. Start discussing how we can do better there. But quit talking about the click-through rate madness. I'm going to hit on that a little bit. So what do I mean by click-through rate madness? How many people in here buy Google AdWords on their own? Anyone? You do? Okay. When you log into Google, no, you don't. Who does? Okay. When you log into Google, every single time you log in, what's their advice? And do what? And eliminate terms, right? Okay, so think about what I'm telling you right now. This is the best nugget I'll give you on Google search, okay? The newspaper ad, it's no different. When they wanted you to sell more cars, you needed to be full color, and you needed to be full page, and you needed to add Sunday, right? And we want to do an insert with you on Thanksgiving. We think that's the key. What did we do? We had gut instinct. Now, because you're a little more confused about Google, and I got this flash that Google's telling me I need to eliminate terms. Now think about this, eliminate terms. Do you pay for an ad with Google if they don't click on it? That's the first question. Never. Is anybody in here interested in free advertising that's moderately relevant and you don't pay for it? Okay? So I want you to think hard about that. It's hard to go against the grain against Google because they're the experts. I've been laughed out of rooms by digital people, but digital people that aren't car people. Okay? That click, if we're selling ties on Amazon and our margin's $3, I can't afford a click that doesn't equate. On a car deal, a good car deal, they don't click, and you should know by now, they don't click and decide to walk in your dealership within seconds. But how many of us are interested in someone who is shopping right now? All of us, okay? So guess what? If you hired someone and they said, I'll get you the best click-through rate, I could do it right now. I'll buy here, pay here in your name. How good will my click-through rate be? Does everybody know what a click-through rate is? Real quick, all the click-through rate is, if you search buy here, pay here, I'll go to here. If you search buy here, pay here, and you get that on a phone, that's an ad, Auto City Credit, okay? If I don't click, so that's one impression. When they come up, that's one impression. If they click, that's 100% click-through rate, okay? So if it comes up 100,000 times and you get 10 clicks, you do the math, you divide it, and that's your click-through rate. That's all they're talking about. So you can take this concept and when you're in these conversations with your vendors, you can own this, okay? Now here's the discussion going on. But look, my click-through rate's better than my other vendor. You got to keep me. They don't have the click-through rate I have. That might be important. I'm not saying click-through rates aren't important. I'm not suggesting go home and buy scrambled eggs, right? But I'm from the car business. Guess what I do buy? Fix my transmission. What are you doing? Well, in my experience of closing people and grossing people, when I saw somebody trying to fix a transmission, I was about to sell a car, right? And I've had people make fun of me. Dude, that came up 5,000 times, you didn't get one click. I'm okay with that. Because eventually, once their service manager tells them $3,000, and we know we can't get more than $500 on a cash down deal, guess where they're headed, right? And if they're needing to fix a transmission, they're not a new car buyer because it's not under warranty. Odds are higher, they're our subprime customer, okay? So what am I telling you? Trust your gut instinct if you walk out here today. You're not going to walk out here an expert, but you are an expert at selling cars. Nobody's better at it than you guys. And start demanding results. And when they come back to you with, well, your click-through rate's better, that's not an answer. So that's what I'm kind of challenging with a little bit today. And we could go deeper on it. I'm going to back up. So here's some simple things that you guys should be doing. So this is basically desktop. Does everybody know what SERP? So SERP just means search engine response page. Okay? Simple things for you guys to remember. And if some of you know it, I'm sorry, but it's we got to bring the group along real fast. If someone searches a term, where that computer folds or your screen, what comes on that screen, that's called the fold. They stole it from newspaper term. So if you're below the fold, you're not getting as many clicks, right? Okay? So I'm going to go through some basic terms. But here's something you guys could be doing for free to start cleaning up. You guys all have Google My Business accounts, okay? That's your listing you see when you put your name in, right over here on the right. See all those over there? Those are free. You all have one. If you haven't claimed your account, go claim it. And if you have claimed it, all of you, if I went to most of you in here and I started looking at your photos, you guys haven't cleaned it up. You have pictures of people that haven't worked there in 3 years. A customer put something up there you don't want. It's all there, right? And I love this. If you can't figure it out, what would you do? Google it. I love to do that to customers on the phone. Hey, sure, I'd love to Google that for you. You know? So you can do all this. It's desire, guys. And if you have a manager sitting in the seat, you told me you're not getting as much floor traffic, let's create an internet culture. Demand these pictures to change once a month or every 2 months. Why? We got the best. These cameras right here, how long did it take us to get a picture of a car in the good old days? How many different processes did we put in place for the cleanup guy to take a picture of a car? Remember the disc? Oh, we'll transfer it to the internet guy and he'll get it there. It never happened. With these, it's quick. So create that culture. And that's the best camera we could have ever dreamed of owning. But business, Google My Business, couple things. A lot of you have question and answers that go unanswered. No, you're fine. Okay? So take a good look. Are your hours correct? You'll be stunned. So now here's the newest thing Google's done, and a lot of you are missing out on this opportunity. On the far right screen here, you see where it says Contact Us Now? Okay? So I have dealers, you can get texting direct to you. You can. And a lot of them will say, I don't want all those. I don't want them all night. I get it. I've worked in the car business. But it's there and it's in front of your people. You've got to figure out a process to how someone responds to that. I could share with you, dealers we all have land phone numbers there, and Google will give you a report how many texts you get a day that they're texting a landline. Okay? So this is free. Go look at your Google My Business, and I'm just pointing it out to you. Make sure you're doing all of these little things. Make sure you're responding to these questions and answers. You can't get rid of those. Okay? So what you don't want is someone else who's aggravated with you answering your question. All right? So make sure your information is accurate. Organize your photos. Make sure you've linked your Facebook account to your Google account so that you get more SEO credit. Make sure if you're on Car Gurus, Yelp. Okay? Why do you want Yelp connected to your Google My Business? Because the Apple Maps, right, on a mobile phone, Apple uses Yelp. Okay? So if you want this listing to match, name your dealership in your map. Make sure you've named it right. So it's not just an address. Reviews. Start demanding it. Yeah, we need to get more reviews. It's not good enough. We got to create that culture. I'll go quicker. I want you to understand local SEO. This is a big one. And this is important for your vendors too, so they don't get in a lot of trouble and you don't pick on them too much. So Google has gone to 100% proximity search. Proximity means if we all pulled our phone out right now and searched best local pizza, we all would have absolutely different results, okay, for a lot of reasons. Some of us, if our cache hasn't updated, it may still upload what we had back home. But Google's gone to 100% proximity search, okay? So when you're sitting at your house and you search something and it doesn't come up and you think it's not working, well, Google also then does what's called relevancy, right? So they've gotten really good at knowing what you search and what kind of pizza you like and what you do for like a lifetime. So they'll take proximity and then they'll do relevancy, okay? So there's a lot of layers to this. But if you're going to reach everybody, you've got to buy more terms. How many people would prefer the customer that searches buy here, pay here, or the customer who searches 600, I have a 600 credit score and need financing? Which one would you rather have? Maybe. You might get a better payer at the 600, the guy that doesn't know he's a buy here, pay here customer yet. I want both is the answer, right? So think about everybody searches different. Every one of us. If you don't believe me, just turn on the news, right? We all think differently. If you're not buying retargeting, you're wasting your Google dollars, okay? And your Bing dollars. So retargeting is important. So what is retargeting? The best analogy I can give to you is, let's say someone searched buy here, pay here, and two things happen. You got a click or you didn't get a click, right? It's the equivalent of going fishing. We put our rod in, the bait's gone in seconds. We pull the rod in and we say, let's move the damn boat. There's nothing here, okay? So this is the most affordable part of search going. And this is where you'll start to see bigger returns. You're going to have a lot of agencies, vendors, people tell you, man, display ads don't work. I'm telling you, this is the fuel on the fire because it does work. We've all done it, right? Like, forget surprising a spouse for anything anymore if you've searched it at home, right? Or you share an account. Hey, Terry, are you buying a video game for the basement? No, my son must have had that, and it's me, right? So retargeting is that. You have the ability to buy the words you don't get a click on, but they're a relevant person. Follow them. And then the ones you got to click, and they went to your website and they bounced, okay? A bounce is someone who comes to your website and leaves under 30 seconds and doesn't do anything. So some people tell you all bounces are bad. Again, that's not always true. Okay? If I went to your website on my mobile phone, because we know 98% of your customers come from a mobile phone, and I just click your phone to call, Google registers that as a bounce. Okay? So not all that's not all true. If they get there just to get an address and bounce, right? So I'm not saying you want to bounce us through the roof, but don't let someone tell you, oh, what's going on here? Well, I don't know. Let's take a bigger look. Let's look at how many phone calls I'm driving off my search, because sometimes those get missed and not enough credit. Again, keyword timing. My advice is to focus on upper funnel so that you're in front of the buyer, so that when they decide to buy, you're going to get the shot. That's all you're after. You can target competition terms. When they serve a term, I can retarget your competition. If you're not retargeting your competition, you guys aren't competitive, right? Do it. You can convert. Display ads. So I want to make sure everybody knows what a display ad is. I kind of alluded to it. So that's what retargeting is. You guys have all seen them. Yeah, they look like this, right? So to the right, there's a bunch of them retargeted. Those are the different sizes. They're all served based on where they go and if the inventory is available. Okay? But tell me you don't want your ad served to these people that have searched your terms, that are your buyers, but someone's going to tell you they don't click, right? Here we go again. Well, they don't click on those ads. But let me tell you something. You can sometimes buy those ads for pennies on the dollar compared to terms you're searching, okay? So this is top of mind awareness. So then when your website provider, and there's a culture clash coming. Your website providers all want to be digital marketing people, right? They're kind of convoluting what they're doing. You want a great website, right? You call, you're doing a great job with digital. Hey, I want a new landing page. And they're like, oh, no, that's an upcharge. But we could do the digital for you, right? So there's this clash going on. And the clash is, they're going to tell you, well, why are you messing with display ads? No one gives you a click. Well, I'm not after a click all the time. Maybe I'm after branding, just like my billboard, just like my email, but if I serve that 100,000 times to the right guy or gal, when they're in the market, I got a chance, okay? And when people are telling you, that's the next thing. When people tell you impressions aren't important, they've lost it. You just need more impressions. They're still important. You just got to put a couple more zeros behind it, right? In the car business, TV radio, we knew what our impression ratio was. We knew how many impressions, spots we needed a week to get that score, so we had good gross rating points. Now, in search, okay, impressions still matter. Don't let someone tell you impressions don't matter. You mean putting my ad in front of people doesn't matter? Again, it's because everybody's after that click. Create all types of ads. Use the Foursquare mentality. Don't get lazy on your ads. If you haven't updated your ad every month, you're doing something wrong, okay? We all get guilty of the same message for 2 years, and you don't know why no one new comes in. Everybody's motivated by something different. Yes, some of your customers are motivated by, I say the Foursquare philosophy. Some of your customers are motivated by cash down. Probably, we all would say all of them, but not, you'd be surprised. There's people sitting in the weeds thinking their clunker's worth some money, right? So trade matters, cash down matters. Buy here, pay here, it's tough, but there are price buyers, right? If they think they're getting a discount on a car, right? So get your mix. And when you get and then there's payment buyers. Those are our four, right off the Foursquare. Mix your messaging and keep it simple so it can be read. And don't let someone just do cheap little ads. Make sure they look right. Next product that you could be using in digital world to reach more people, geofencing. And I got to move a little faster. How many people know what geofencing is? Okay, everybody has a different version, right? The newspaper has a different version. The radio station has a different version of geofencing. It's because they're all selling it differently, okay? My advice to the car business, the only reason we need it is to find car buyers, right? I don't need you to serve it to a full zip code. Now here, in buy here, pay here, if you know your portfolio, how many of you guys know what zip code performs the best in your market? So you should be geofencing that all the way, okay? You should be geofencing each and every one of your competitors, okay? If someone even bought a brand new, there's no such thing as a brand new buy here, pay here car, but if someone bought a vehicle right now today, can a lot of things go wrong in the first week of a new car sold in the buy here, pay here world? Right? So I've had dealers go, oh, well, why would you geofence the competitors? They're already bought. Oh, dude, like wake up, right? If they got a service problem, guess where they're going? 9 times out of 10, the next guy, they're going to try again, right? Unless we're doing a good job. So you should be geofencing your competitors. You should be right now. And if you're not, sorry. Why would you not be serving ads to everybody that's a buy here, pay here customer? You have the ability to do that, okay? If you really want to get granular, you could put a, you know, you could do, we do them in front of check cashing places, title loans. You can get as creative as you want. If there's a show you can't get to, where you know your customer's gathering, put the fence up for 2 days and take it right back down. And then retarget them, like I told you, retarget them for 90 days, okay? And they can be served in all the different apps and websites you want. And the reporting, if you desire it, if your person's not giving you good reporting, you can get it. They're capable of telling you how many people walked into each and every geofence every month, if that's what you desire. They can tell you how many people from that competitor walked into your showroom in a month. Okay? So just demand it if you're not getting it. Again, geofencing is not being sold right to you guys. I can't tell you, Demand Local's a big player out there. They sell a lot of geofencing, and him and I had a great discussion a long time ago, and we agreed. Geofencing is being sold, and the industry's arguing over who can get a better click-through rate than 1%. I mean, think about that, right? They are. Oh, competitor over there, he's getting around 1.2%. I think I can get it up to 1.8%. Now think about what they're arguing over, okay? It's nuts. But what matters is that the click is probably accidental. So don't, again, in geofencing and display banner, how many of you guys have ever clicked an ad in any app ever for anything on purpose? Common sense. At the beginning of my thing I told you, use common sense. It doesn't mean it's a lousy ad. It's not the purpose of the ad, right? And I would argue that all of those 1% clicks were probably accidental, okay? But it's not a lousy ad. If you're serving it to your competition and people you know are your customers, when they are ready to buy, we're now talking about that top of funnel. I have a better chance of that direct traffic. When your digital campaign's great, your organic traffic, which is the free traffic, will always go up, okay? And that's another discussion another day. It gets deep, but I can tell you right now, if you did a great SEM campaign, pay-per-click campaign, your organic will go through the roof if it's managed properly. And then the organic guys go, oh, dude, it's all organic. They work together, okay? They work together. Focus on your branding. I've already hit on it. Whatever your name is, demand your name on it. Make sure your logo is easy to see on every ad. Call to action. This will not last long, right? We know how to close a deal. One of my favorite posts when I got out of the business 4 years ago, I was in Facebook, man, people came running in. I said, I only have permission to sell 2 vehicles at this price for the next 48 hours. Like, people come in through the roof. You know, in the finance office, I've only got 2 coupons left for warranty coupons. Let me check with my boss, see if I can get you a warranty coupon. You know? Well, now, why did that stuff work? Because everybody's motivated differently, okay? So think about different call to actions we can use in our industry and demand them on your ads. They are a billboard in your customer's hands. We get the opportunity to target with precision. That's kind of what the geofencing looks like. I want to get to TruView now because I'm running out of time. YouTube. Guys, YouTube is to me, the biggest silent killer of them all right now, okay? So YouTube, we've all used YouTube. Here's why I like YouTube, the TruView factor. It's called TruView because if someone's, you know, everybody sees that skips the ad within the first 5 seconds, okay, you set it up properly, you don't get charged for it. That's still good branding, but people are watching them. Let me show you some statistics real quick if I blow it up. I don't know if it'll let me. Here's a YouTube account we're managing. I'm using it as an example. A lot of your YouTube accounts look like this. Look what they were doing before. 4 views, 4 views, 6 views, 5 views. We took over down here. They were getting 13. Now we're getting 13,000 views on a commercial. 7.8 thousand views, 6.8 thousand views, 7,000 views. Okay? That can happen if you don't know how to promote your YouTube videos, Google it. You can learn it on your own. You don't have to get this big, crazy campaign. But I'm telling you, for $500 a month, $700 a month, and if you're not promoting the videos you guys do, you're crazy. And here's the best part about YouTube and social. People are begging for authenticity, guys. The days of us having to put together a polished commercial that's like over the top and nice are over. Get this thing out, turn it sideways, not this way, turn it, right? And get your best salesperson, just say, hey, explain to me why you love working here. What's the best part? Put it on your YouTube account and throw 50 bucks at it. Have a contest with your salespeople. That's what I mean by creating culture. Everybody's going to give me one video. I'm going to put 50 bucks behind everybody's video, and whichever one gets the most views and clicks, I'm going to pay them 100 bucks. Okay? That's how you can start to create an energy in your dealership to start talking digital instead of the same old stuff. Just a thought. Social media. Facebook. Do download my presentation because there's some good numbers here. A lot of the millennials, everybody say, oh, we don't use Facebook. They're right. They don't use it like we use it when you get older to look at pictures of grandkids and kids and all that stuff, but they do use it when they're trying to make a decision in terms of a brand. They'll go to look for reviews, right? Last second. And that's why you need to have a good Facebook presence. So all Polk data is, the data's still there. You can go get it, but it's not interchangeable with Facebook the way it was. But Facebook has the same data. So this is what I want you to demand in your Facebook accounts. You need a page. They're very important, okay? But if you're not getting them in people's news feeds, you heard him say it, you're wasting your time. And I love his analogy. How do you know if they're in the market? What are you talking about? For pennies on the dollar, you can be in someone's news feed, right? Right here. Go walk out in the hallway today when we're done and just watch people up and down the hallways, right? You've already ran into them. Dude, pay the hell of attention. I'm about to run your ass over, right? Facebook. I always said if their index finger's out, they're in social, right? If they're doing it with a thumb, they're in email. I do. I try to see if I'm right. I'm usually pretty close. But I will tell you, Facebook has what's called like audiences, and it will learn, and it's fun. You'll start with this little database, and if it gets a click and they fill out a form for you and you get a lead, right, it'll say, oh, okay, I noticed that that's the kind of person you're after. But you got to stay with it and you get better. Here's the deal. You're not going to be better at, you're not going to be great at when you start, but it's better than you were yesterday when you walked in here and didn't try it, okay? You've got to do something. I wish I had more time to get into it because it's huge, but I do want to make sure everybody understands how Facebook, your pages work. This is pretty elementary, but some of you don't know. I get into dealerships all the time. When Facebook was originally launched, when you had a business, if you put a post on your page, right, and you had 20,000 likes, 20,000 people would get it in their news feed, okay? That was before they went public and had to make a profit, okay? So to this day, there's still a lot of dealers going, oh, let's get stuff on our Facebook. Like, if you're not promoting what you're putting on there, just don't even post. I hate to be that sarcastic. Although there's one thing that it does help. The person who's ready to buy and checking your reviews. That's the only value. They're going to go direct to you, okay, for that. But in general, you got all these guys putting cars up, and if you're not putting some gas in the tank, no one's seeing it. So the way they work it now is less than 6% of your likes get to see your ads. So some of you that are plugging along with 110 likes on your Facebook page, like, good luck. Again, advertising is the most people for the least amount of money. Yes? Right. Yep, goes through the roof. Yep. Sure. Yep. Right. So he brings up a great point. Here's the deal. If someone likes a promoted post, it now enters into personal space, okay? So if I'm friends, what's your first name? With Matt, and Matt likes a post, guess what? I see what he likes, okay? So the way the pyramid scheme works is if he's got 999 friends, if we're on, we get to see what he just liked, okay? So if I get 10 likes, do the math, on average people have between 750 and 900 friends. That's like the average, okay? So it gets real good real quick. This is another discussion another day when I consult dealers. You brought up personal fan pages. If you don't have salespeople, and everybody says, well, I don't trust my salespeople, well, when have we ever trusted them in 50 years? You know, I hear dealers going, well, I don't want them doing that on Facebook. It could be bad. Well, what about when you let them write a note? Like, have you seen their grammar and a sentence structure? And we used to let them mail those. Like it's, am I right? That was always my biggest fear. Like, oh my God, if John sends one more, like, just don't, like, I had the gals in the office pull them and he thought they were going out. So, but listen, why are we stopping your people from being innovative? They're sitting at your desk dying to do it, and you've got to figure out, spend some time in that space. I'm trying to help people put together processes, but you got to have one. Make them use your home address, your dealership's address, and that, again, should be part of your daily one-on-ones with your managers. Asking them, hey, I can't tell you how many salespeople don't even like the business's page they work for. Go around your dealership. You'd be stunned how many people don't even like your own page, right? So get into it. Create that culture. He kind of hit it. Promoted post, guys, a promoted post, if someone walks in, don't get confused. Promoted just means it's a post that was on your page, and we paid to get it out to people in their news feed, okay? A Facebook ad never is on your page, but it shows up in people's news feeds. Now, what's neat about some of the Facebook ads out there, those are called carousel ads. Don't let them get lazy and just grab off your inventory, okay? This is my opinion, okay? Do our cars look the best? All of them? No. What is marketing about? Would you market the best looking car of all time, or the ones we got sitting on the lot that we made them look pretty good? Just asking. You guys, like, all of a sudden we decided, like, bait and switch doesn't work, and it's not. If you have a great car, clean it up in Photoshop, make it stand tall, make sure your logo's there, and have a little message, see offer, as opposed to a guy down there where a car, see how one's in the rain, half cut off. What's that?
What we do, so we have a truck or something like that. We'll do a carousel ad with just trucks, and then we go in and we find the truck audience with that one.
Yeah, and that's even better because so you're deeper into it. But that's how it should be. You could have an audience for sedans, right? Trucks, SUVs, in different seasons. If you're still thinking sedans right now on Facebook, you should be thinking SUVs in most of America, right? Winter's coming for most people, okay? If you're not in that market, you need to think that through. If you're in the northern Michigan, you should be advertising rust-free cars, right? If you're down here, it's salt sand-free or whatever you got to do. But am I right or wrong? So demand it. That's all I'm getting at. And you guys know how to sell cars. You didn't let the newspaper show up with a car like that on the right with rain on it or snow sitting on it. No. So why are you allowing it here? It doesn't cost any money to be clean. A couple quick best strategies, and then we'll get out of here and ask some questions. I will stay late. I know I'm running long. Let them know you're local. Guys, local matters. Be proud of being local. If you are sponsoring a Little League team or any of that little stuff you do, take credit for it. Become a leading industry expert. You should every now and then get on there. I know we're all scared to say, hey, we give them little tips on Halloween, or Thanksgiving coming up, how to do it on a budget, right? Stuff that matters. Stay current and relevant. I love to take stuff that's trending. The easiest way is find something that's trending and put it on Facebook. People will laugh. Have fun with your users. That's what I like about social too. If you get people laughing, you're going to get them buying. Get users and community involved. Make sure you have proper formatting. Look like a pro, sound like a pro, act like a pro, right? Spend some time. Learn how to format a picture so it looks sharp in the news feed. Demand it, okay? And if you can't do it, there are tools out there to hire someone for pennies on the dollar. Back in the day, remember ad agency to get a new logo was $3,000, right? You can get one now for $100, a good one. And some of you say $18, but it's not good. Post during optimal times. Do your homework, right? So the optimal times are the AM, but believe it or not, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. For some reason, that's the best Facebook time, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And you can Google it. The research changes. It may change next week. But right now, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So that tells you all of the workers in America are taking a little break, right? Here's minimum expectations. This is a minimum. You should have 5 posts a week on your Facebook page. That's not asking too much, right? Company logo on every post. There's a great app, I'm drawing a blank. There are apps out there where you can put a logo on a car you take a picture of. So you load your logo in there and it puts it right on top of it. But why would you put a post without your logo on it, right? Think about that. If someone shares it or likes it, I want them to know it's me. And I don't want the dealer down the road to steal it. Okay, format everything, I hit that. Pictures and videos are king, man. If you can get more videos up there, they do better. I will tell you, I learned, you guys that do Facebook on your own, if you can learn to save a JPEG as a video file, it goes to more people for less money. Because the computer hasn't figured out the difference yet. It's a little nugget. So we post pictures now as video files. A static picture, and I've done it A/B testing many times, so Facebook wants to push video. Does that make sense? And the computer just sees the file name. Little trick. Respond to everyone as soon as possible. And everybody always does this. Well, who's responding? It's all hands on deck on Facebook. Everybody has a phone. Everybody in your organization that sells should be looking at your page. And if something comes up that's bad, it's all hands on deck. It's a fire drill. We're all on the team or we're not, right? It's no different. Who handles the customer walks in our showroom that's mad? Well, whoever's there. But this is our new showroom. Start searching this is another tidbit on Facebook. Start searching your competitor's Facebook page. If you wanted to prospect right now, every bad review, guess what I'd do? I'd like them on Facebook and send them a private message. Hey, sorry you didn't have a great experience. Sorry to hear that. Dude, they're all over your competitor's Facebook page. I would have loved to sell cars today compared to when we had to do prospecting. With Google and Facebook, you can do a lot. Start Googling buy here, pay here dealers in your market and go through all the reviews, right? Google chapter or bankruptcy attorneys, right? And make your guys prospects. Go find their business on Facebook, send a private message, hey, I'd love referrals off your bankruptcies. Tow truck drivers. Go find their Facebook pages. Most of them own their own business that do repos or, right, hey, listen, send a private message. And they'll tell you it doesn't work because they sent one message. But have a plan. I'm just telling you to start thinking through this. For very minimal dollars, if you wanted to corner a market with digital marketing, you can be involved with Google, right? You can do some display retargeting ads. You can do Facebook and you can do YouTube. It might take a little research, but what's more exciting about your business? Guys, I'm telling you, it's not like you don't have to be a computer programmer like the old days, right? It's easy. Quit letting someone tell you it's difficult and just demand results. I do apologize, I was a little scattered, but there's so much and I get so excited. I do want to take questions. Anybody wants to go, thank you, but I'll stay and talk as long as you want me to. Any questions? Yes.
We were doing retargeting with Google.
Yes.
They actually blocked our ad because we reminded people that they had bad credit.
Yes. Yes. So Google and Facebook, they do scare me because they're like, have you ever do you promote Facebook ads too ever? Like, it's amazing. You say something so positive and you get it turned down. It's like, this is rude. I'm like, dude, like that's the nicest post ever. So yeah, so what he's saying, the question was on retargeting with your ad, but again, it's you'll learn. You know that now. Everybody will have to it didn't cost you any to learn it, but you do know it. So that's part of becoming a practitioner. So Google does a good job of keeping you compliant on its own, right? Anything else? Did you learn something, I hope? All right. Huh?